arranged marriage or love marriage? Which do you prefer? Hare Krishna, Mohini Madhavi here. For last 20 years I'm in ISKCON, married to my Indian husband for last 10 years. In this video, I will tell you the difference between arranged marriage and the love marriage. Love marriage, according to Vedas, is called Gandharva marriage, where couples somehow meet each other. Maybe in the road, your pen fell down and you wanted to pick it up, and suddenly another person, gentleman, stopped his bike, came from the roadside and ran towards your pen and picked it up and then gave to you. And you were like, my life and soul. So that is kind of love marriage, right? The love marriage happens on its own in our day-to-day life. When we meet the person suddenly out of nowhere, or we have a friend which we always meet and talk and spend time with, and suddenly we start loving each other. So that is called love marriage. Cupid is so Cupid, you know that, the god of love, the attraction, love. Cupid is so strong and it can shoot his arrows. He can shoot his arrows to anyone and make you love anyone, even a monkey, if he shoots his arrow into your heart and shows you the monkey. Oh my goodness. Yes, love marriages can be sometimes successful, many times even can be successful, or sometimes not so successful and end up in divorce cases or separation cases. We have from the scriptures example of unsuccessful marriages. Ajamila falling in love with the prostitute. She was having so many boyfriends, and then Ajamil saw her and he was so much passionate about her, and he left his parents, he left his own wife and married this girl, prostitute, and lived with her for life until he's 8 years old and he was there. Some successful love marriages in our shastras, which is like Shakuntala and Dushmanta. Shakuntala was in the hermitage of the Muni. She was the daughter of Vishwamitra, so she was grown up by the sage. When she was playing with her friends in the forest, suddenly Dushmanta, the gentleman king, came to the forest and saw her. She also turned that way and saw him, and they were in love with each other. So that was an example of a love marriage, and they got married like a Gandharvas, exchanging the garlands and then uniting and then having kid, and then later they had some problems but later solved it and they lived together for life. Here we see that in our scriptures we have love marriage examples which are successful and not so successful as well. So is it wrong? Is it something is wrong in love marriage? Because love marriage can happen, as I told you, between even monkey and you. We don't know whom we are falling in love with. That may be the problem. I have a video on the criteria you need to look in a future husband so that your marriage will sustain for long and be happy and you feel satisfied in the marriage. We have a long criteria where we look into the husband before choosing to love that person. Now I have that video here or there or in the description of this video. Now when you suddenly fell in love, you didn't go through those criteria. You just fell in love with somebody you don't know even. You may not know his culture, you may not know his family background, you may not know his financial state, you may not know his spiritual background, and you just fell in love and you got married. Later in life you understood he's not the right person and you fell in love with him. What if he was a girl hunter? That was a criteria you had to look, right? What if he is a drunkard? That was a criteria you need to look for, right? What if he was having another wife and you didn't look at it and you just fell in love and got married to him? That is the thing regarding love marriage. Now, arranged marriage. Some people these days think that arranged marriage is actually a forced marriage. But as per our shastras, arranged marriage is not actually a forced marriage. It's actually when the girl and boy already used to know each other somehow. They may not have met in person, but they already know the person and they like the person. And so then the girl usually used to go to her grandmother and then in her ear, "Can you please arrange my marriage with Yen? Can you please talk to my father regarding?" So grandmothers used to be the medial person between father and daughter and mother and daughter, so that the daughter was very open with the grandmother because they are so sweet and they don't punish. So she used to open her heart, and when she knows somebody, some boy, she fell in love with him, she used to tell to grandmother, and then grandmother used to tell to her son, and the son goes and knows about that person. If he is good as per all the criterias, he would arrange that marriage. So that is called an arranged marriage as per our shastras. It's not a forced marriage where girl even doesn't know whom she is getting married, and girl just is, she's like doesn't want to get married and she's married. That creates little bit dissatisfaction in her life, which we don't want, right? We want all the women and girls and husbands to be happy in married life. We don't want them suffer marrying them to not matching each other. One of the forced, I would say, like forced arranged marriages was the case of Sukanya. Well, it was also not forced, like she was not put into deathbed if she doesn't do it, but what she did it was her fault. She was playing with her girlfriends and she saw some two shiny diamond kind of shiny things on one anthill. She just took, she thought something to play with, and she just took the stone and threw very sharp stones. And she's a Kshatriya girl, when she throws something she does it so strong. She did it and she poked the eyes of a sage. It was actually a very angry sage, very old and angry sage, very, very powerful sage. He got blinded and his anger increased on top of that, and he said, "I'm gonna blast whole your entire kingdom if you don't stop your daughter what she has done." So in order to satisfy, to pacify that sage and to avoid the curses, the king said to her daughter, "Please, my daughter, just get married to this guy, the old sage. That way we will protect whole kingdom, because he's gonna curse us now." That was the only case I remember when arranged marriage was forced upon a girl, when she literally didn't want to get married to. Who wants, which girl, especially the princess, so beautiful, so young, so much money and so much wealth, who wants to get married to a very old, on top of that angry, on top of that poor person in the forest and live in the forest? Usually not so many princesses would like it, but she got married and she used her chastity. She was so much obedient, and still at the end what happened is, because of her chastity and because of her service, Ashwini Kumars came and blessed her, and then her husband turned into a young, handsome husband. So that also ended up in a way that girl will love husband. So that arranged marriage also, which was initially a little bit forced, but it turned out that she got a very loving husband which she wanted in life. Now, another example of arranged marriage was Devahuti and Kardama Muni. Though Devahuti and Kardama Muni didn't meet, like when something fell down and Kardama Muni came and they helped her, it didn't happen like that. It was not a love marriage, but still Narada Muni used to come to Devahuti's palace, where Manu's palace, and tell about Kardama Muni, because he knows the future. They're gonna get married. So he came here and started talking about the greatness of this Kardama Muni, how he's handsome, how he's smart, how he's intelligent, how he's a great devotee, how he's so good. So then Devahuti she fell in love with him. And the same way, when Kardama Muni was doing austerities to get married and produce offspring, the Lord appeared. And Lord, he was very great devotee, but still he had that desire to get married. So the Lord, when he appeared, he said that very nice girl is gonna approach you soon. Her father will come and they will approach you. So please accept her. She is very nice, very beautiful, very chaste, very virgin, pure girl. She is as per your quality. She deserves you, so please accept her hand. Lord personally told those things, and Kardama Muni was, yes, let she come. That was the starting of the arranged marriage. So the parents came and approached Kardama Muni. So here we see that girl actually, Devahuti already knew the Kardama Muni, and then they already knew each other through words, and they used to like each other, and they from within they accepted each other. Another example is Rukmini. Her brother wanted to marry her to Shishupal, and she didn't love Shishupal, so she didn't want to marry him. Though Shishupal also is a great king and all the wealth, equal level with Rukmini, but she didn't want it. That's why she wanted to get married to Krishna. It was a Kshatriya marriage where Krishna came and fought for Rukmini and grabbed her as per her desire to his kingdom and married. The same with Draupadi. Draupadi used to love Arjuna even before marriage. She used to know Arjuna. Now Arjuna was very famous. Arjuna also knew about Draupadi, her qualities, how she appeared from the fire, and she was so beautiful, and so both knew each other and they got married. Even Subhadra, Krishna arranged Subhadra's marriage. Krishna used to tell about Arjuna so much to Subhadra so that she falls in love with her. But before arranging that marriage, he didn't force Subhadra. He just created that. He informed Subhadra about Arjuna, used to tell about him. So Subhadra fell in love with Arjuna just before marriage. So then they arranged the marriage, and Arjuna, by the permission of Subhadra, grabbed Subhadra home and got married in a Kshatriya way. Now, when you are meeting a person, websites, it's actually also arranged marriage. Why? Because you are not making things suddenly. You are not waiting for it. You are purposefully going to the website. You are putting your profile. You are writing your preferences. And when you are trying to approach, you are not just randomly selecting a person. You are just going through criteria. Is he from India? Is he from Russia or whatever? You are choosing your caste, your this one, that one. That's also actually the arranged marriage. Then when you start meeting, then you may develop a love, then you may call it a love marriage, but it's actually started with arranged marriage, where you looked all the criteria and decided whom to love, so you went with that marriage. Now, which is better, arranged marriage or love marriage? Those of us who are very lucky and who have very good karma, marriage karma, they may get married through love marriage, and they may meet the right person and fall in love with the right person. But most of us in these days, especially when we don't meet so many people and where we don't stay in a big communities where so many people come together, associate with each other. So in this closed communities where even if you come to US, everyone is in the car. There's no option. There is no way to meet each other usually. And you may think of schools or colleges. Usually, love marriages are rarely to happen during college years because same age boys, when you're in your 20s, may not be thinking about marriage. They're so very dumb regarding marriage issues. They're not interested yet in marriage, whereas you as a girl may be so much interested in it and you care for it, so you may be interested in older people who really wanted to get married. This day and age, love marriage is very difficult to attain, so it's better not to waste your years in expecting those movie kind of relationships where you meet the person and then just fall in love with him, and then your life will be like in the cinema. So now, if you want some tips how to get married, I have some video on that. You may watch here or somewhere there, or in the description of this video I'll put that link. Hare Krishna.